base camp. I'm going to create that here on the island.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
same.
We'll just do that. Okay. I
How
think we're
about
live.
artist entrepreneur is the best way to describe this guy.
Okay.
Artist entrepreneur.
Um, I'm live here with my really
Are
good
you?
friend Troy Oles. We've been friends for a few years, maybe a couple years, maybe even 3.
Yeah.
I don't even remember when we met. It's been a while. Um, you are, when I met you, you were highly involved in health and fitness, and you had the Ascend Wellness Base Camp in Boise, Idaho,
Yeah.
doing amazing things with people. Like, just I got to meet with some of the people who came through that process with you, and they just had incredible transformations. So that's when I met you. And then I think I interviewed you several years ago, and we talked about meditation, we talked about
Yeah.
some other things, but today we're talking all about spiritual awakening. And I think this is a topic that's on a lot of people's minds right now, because people really, we're so disenfranchised by what we're being fed on the media and the news, and being
Mhm.
told by people in positions of authority and power. We want to get our news and our truth from a better source. So I think a lot of people have this on the brain right now, and a lot of people are experiencing it right now. Are you finding the same
Amen.
thing?
100%. I've got a dear friend here. His name is McCullough. And last night he literally pulled me aside and says, "Are you getting this? I've got people from the mainland calling me, coming completely unhinged. They're terrified. They have no idea what to do, what to believe, and their future is just so different than what people are accustomed to." He says, "What should I do, man? How do I coach these people?"
Yeah. Oh, it's so sad what's going on. Like, people really literally are in going down into the depths of fear and despair, and what's my future going to look like? And that's not a healthy place to be. And then we create from that place. So
Right.
we owe it to ourselves. We have a responsibility to raise the vibration, for sure. Let's
Right.
talk about the meaning. Like, what is spiritual awakening to you? What does it look like for you?
For, spiritual awakening for me is just remembering. It's a remembering. I have a particular construct that I've created for myself, because we get to do that, right? As you believe, right? And my life, like everybody who's watching this, has had challenging experiences, has had challenging moments. Those moments where it's like, why did that happen? Oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And then sadly, if we don't do something about it, why did that happen again and again and again? But that's a completely separate topic. But I had deeply in my bones, like, why is this happening? And I was taught a process of inner journey work, deep meditation. And if you take it even further, it's going into that quantum space.
Yeah.
And it was in that place that I realized, I just got these downloads that you created this, you wrote the script for this, Troy. And and so everything is happening for me by design. And that's what it is for me. It's remembering it. When quick story. What if, Janet, you and I in the ether before we were born had this conversation that said we're going to ascend our souls, our frequency in this next life, and these are the things that need to happen, right? In my world, oh, I've got to go through addiction. I've got to go through divorce. Wow, that's going to really suck.
Yeah.
So I got to say, Janet, will you be my quantum coach here at this time in my life? Angela, will you be my wife and give me the opportunity to go through this grievous experience, right?
Mhm.
And on and on. And will you be my mother, and so on and so forth? We are born and forget, right? But
Yeah.
I clearly remember when I was 3 years old having a memory of it. I had memories of things that I'd never seen on TV, experiences in war, experiences being a tyrant, all these downloads that I didn't know where they came from, but now I do.
Yeah.
And that's, again, we can take that. So I think that's what it is getting the process, coming to a place where we remember our divinity,
Oh,
that we are here, we're light, we're we're purely divine, and we
we are.
forget that. Yeah.
You said it so perfectly. That was just so perfectly said. Like, I
Mm,
think I probably would have used the exact same words that you used if I were to describe what spiritual awakening is. It is a remembering. And we were talking earlier before we jumped onto this live, but you said something I thought was really cool about getting clarity. And I want to talk about this more, but in a second. Um, some of the different processes and things that you did to help you get clarity. And there's 1,000 different things we can do to wake up, to help us get clarity. But when I mentor with people, especially one on one, usually people come to me because they've been trying for a long time to hear the voice of God or to know who they are, like what you said, to remember that those deeper meaning or the different layers of who you are, where you came from, where you're going, what's the purpose, what agreements and covenants and commitments and oaths did you make before you got here, right? And what
mm,
is the purpose of you being here? What are you supposed to overcome? And so, a lot of people say to me, I just feel like when I try to meditate or when I try to go into that space, I get nothing. I'm blank. It's
mhm.
empty. It's dark. And so, um, oftentimes we need help. We need tools. We need a coach. We need a mentor. We need something. So, can you, like, what are some of the things that you did to help you get that clarity so that you could tap into who are you and what are you here for and what are you doing?
It's a great question. And I think that I'm very clear about is I've got a deep, insatiable need to know.
Yeah.
Like, why did I just say that? Why did that happen? Why did they do this? Why does the world work the way it works? I just had
Yeah.
this intense curiosity
I
for as
have that
long as
too.
I can remember, right?
Yeah, me too. I've had it since I was little.
Right.
Because
And
nothing's a coincidence. Nothing happens
nothing.
by chance.
No. And when go in, we learn and practice that place, we start to realize that there is a language of God and it comes in patterns and insights. And we've got to be quiet in order to hear that. And that is the work and the practice. Um, but what having that need and that to know, to seek, because it says, seeking you shall find, knock, and it will be open unto you. And I choose to believe that these things are absolutely truth. And so I just keep knocking and I keep seeking, and more is revealed. And so um, I've read a lot. Like if you look at my library, I won't take, those are the right kind of books,
Yeah.
right? They're about how the mind works. They're about hypnosis and meditation, about human behavior. And I didn't get these books to learn about other people. I got them to learn about myself.
Yep.
And as I learn about myself, guess what? I know you a lot better than if I had never done the work on me,
True.
right?
Because you're clear and there's no filter.
I understand, right? And I had a mentor about 6 years ago who pissed me off because both of us had big egos, but he's way more ascended than I am even to this day. And he says, I know you better than you know you, Troy. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
What a
Now I get
jerk.
it. He truly knew me better than I knew myself.
Yeah.
So I read a lot. I was taught by that particular mentor about 10 years ago a form of meditation that's not just clearing the mind. It's a combination of what Carl Jung talks about, the unconscious is controlling and running the show.
Yep.
People think that they're choosing, but no, 95% of every behavior that we have on a daily basis is an unconscious thing, but we say we're choosing. It's not the case, right? So he taught me how to go in and then combining that Joseph Campbell hero's journey. If you read or listen to any Joseph Campbell,
Yep.
if you're going to have an initiation, if you're going to have discovery, you're going to go into the darkest part of the forest and you're going to go alone, right? And so going into the unconscious in this way through breath and basically through a breath work pattern, I've gone in and I've been able to see things that you can't see unless you do the work,
Yeah.
unless you have dreams. But
Well, it's all recorded. Like everything that you've ever experienced in and out of this life is recorded within you. It's written on your soul. And so it's all in there. You can access it by bypassing the conscious mind and going into the subconscious and the superconscious, and that's what we call it, but it really is just your soul. It's your higher self, and the deeper in you go, the more truth you get.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and that, to tie a bow on that question with my answer, is when I was taught how to do this process, I would call my mentor and say, I just did that for 5 minutes. He goes, you haven't even started, right? You haven't even started. And so what I began doing is extending the practice to where literally twice a day for a minimum of 45 minutes, twice a day. So nearly 2 hours a day, I would go in full on, and I wasn't in this body anymore. I was in the quantum realm, and I'm exploring and being shown things. I've seen some shit, honey. I mean, like I know you have too.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've done the spirit travel as well, and it's powerful.
Right. And that's what I did. I literally was in that type of practice for over 3 years, twice a day. And what started to happen is I could see with, I could create with my eyes open. I could see energy in my, like, I could see energy in my hand with my eyes open. Right. I got very clear that the Akashic records, the book of life, everything that ever has been still exists, and everything that ever will be, the potential for that is right now, and that I'm a co-creator with that.
Sure. That's
Right.
past, present, future. That's just the gift of prophecy, is what that is.
Right. But I think what you do so well, Janet, is you put it in a context, into a language. It's like that which you read and you've heard all your life in church or wherever. This is what it means. And better yet, this is how you can apply it to your life.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the most profound thing that I've ever really discovered, is that I choose to not believe that there's a big daddy in the sky. I believe that I'm a co-creator with this infinite force source, right?
Mhm.
And that I'm in this dance and this camaraderie, right? And back in 2009, I created a vision statement. It's to brilliantly co-create in Christ consciousness inspired work that positively impacts the world. And I still remain true to that. And so, in all of what I do, whether it's pouring concrete or writing a marketing piece for a company or making a sales call for Tony Robbins, I bring that into everything that I do.
Yeah. Would you be willing to walk us through? So you mentioned you have a daily practice, and one of
Mhm.
those things that I know you do many things. Like I know that you do things with diet and foods and herbs and teas and different things to help support you. But um, could you walk us through what does that look like for you? This one piece of getting into that meditation, that 45-minute meditation that you do twice a day. What do you do? How do you do that? And how do you get in? How do you access? Because I think people really want to know.
I love talking about this, and I love teaching this. So there's lots of ways in.
Mhm.
That's what I've learned. There are a lot of ways to go into this space, and everybody's got no my way, no my. You got to get rid of that horse shit. But there are a lot of ways to go in, and what happens is over years of study and practice and going to trainings and learning from other people, you start to realize, oh, what I was doing intuitively is called that in your world, right? And you
Mhm.
start to realize that you don't have just one tool. We've got many tools, and depending upon where we're at, we can utilize the tool. And what I mean by that is when, like this morning before this live stream, I did my thing. I put on my little eye mask so I could go completely sensory dark. I put on my Bose noise canceling headset, and I put on some binaural beats, and I can put all this stuff in the notes for
Yeah,
you as well, so
please.
that the frequency in my ears is putting my brain into a hypnotic state,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because we're all hypnotized, all of us,
Yeah.
almost all the time. So
Even
I'm
now.
taking, right? As you say that, I can tell it's like, oh, you're in that pattern of rolling talk, talk, talk. It's hypnosis.
Mhm.
And so what I do is I use those to um, get my brain frequency into a hypnotic state. And then I have another app that actually is just a cadence to box breathe. And if people don't know what box breathing is, it's a game changer.
Yes.
I start every client with box breathing,
It's
and it's just
powerful.
right. And so,
Yeah.
so I have the binaural beats in my ears. I have the box breathing tones, just keeping rhythm. And then at the end of that, I have the Devi prayer song. And I listen to that while I do the creation. And so to give people an idea of what box breathing with a little extra coaching can do, that symbol, we've all seen that symbol, right?
Yes.
So when we compare that to what you created, right? This is, so down here, that's that root chakra, right? This up here, that's that crown chakra. But a lot of people don't realize what this is describing. But what this is this is the ability to move the energy from our root chakra and up and ascend that into our pineal gland and activate that communication tool with the divine. And that's, boom, that's the crown, the wings. You're infinite at that level. And so
Amazing.
that's literally just through some breathing and a couple really simple techniques. People can literally start doing this today
And
and
that's an
seeing
amazing
stuff.
book, by the way. Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
he's
that
amazing.
guy, that dude is incredible. Very
Right?
ascended.
Well, and that people don't realize that pine cone, that represents the pineal gland.
Yeah.
That's the energy moving up. We have the ability to ascend and activate this mechanism that puts us in direct communication with the divine.
Yeah. You know, the first time that I went through, you taught me about the Wim Hof breathing, and you were in my office one day and we were doing the Wim Hof breathing. Like, it was the first time I think I'd ever done it. And you're like, "Do you want to learn it?" And I said, "Sure." So we did the Wim Hof breath. And during the last portion of the holding of the breath, I felt this giant boom in my head, like something popped in my head, and I know that my third eye opened up in that moment. I know that it cracked
100%.
open because immediately after that was over, this vision opened up, and I shared with you what that vision was. But
Yeah.
that was a powerful, powerful experience. Just the breathing alone, using the breath to move that energy up and out and open things up and crack you open. And there's a lot of things that can crack us open, but sometimes our bodies and our minds and our free will, we need a little bit of help. And so these tools are fantastic.
Right. A very simple technique, just to avoid all the description of it, is for people if they want to really raise frequency instantly, is just breathe in, and we'll get a little crass here, but we know what a perineum is. Okay, if you don't know what a perineum is, it's basically what you clench to stop the flow of pee. There you have it. That's also the root chakra, right?
Yes. Yes.
So when you breathe in, clench the root chakra, and then push up into and then focus on your third eye. And if you can visualize that energy rushing from the root chakra up your spine and to your pineal gland, and imagine it just bursting open like a sun.
Yeah.
And just do that several times. Just make it simple. Just clench and push. Do that 3 or 4 times and you'll feel it. You'll feel different for sure. And it's not just because blood is rushing to our head, it's because energy. And the way we know that is with our eyes closed. That's why I like to wear one of these and have no external light, is I can start to see a kaleidoscope behind my eyelids. And then a royal blue circle starts to go, mwah, mwah. And now I've learned through, you know what I'm talking about.
I do have that.
Through lots of practice, I can intend that blue circle to turn into a white light wormhole, just like the ones we saw in the movie Contact with Jodie Foster. And I can jump into those wormholes and I can go all over the place. And I've seen some wild things.
Yeah.
The thing that I think, Janet, what I've learned for myself, my now truth, which everybody has their own individual truths, and they are true for each one of us, right?
Yeah.
Is that it's unlike anything I've been taught. Unlike anything I've been taught. So it is true. Beyond beyond infinite. And the most important thing to know is just like having a paintbrush, you know, that Natasha Bedingfield song, Unwritten, right?
Yep.
We all have the pen, we all have the paints, right? And we get to create whatever we want. And I think if there was one thing that I could share on this live stream is you will not ascend here watching the media. You will not ascend into the places that Janet takes clients on the daily, listening to talk radio, whether it's Rush Limbaugh, all of it. And the thing that is hard for people to wrap their minds around is the fact that what we live in society, to your first initial question of how are we dealing with this coronavirus COVID thing,
Right.
here's how I deal with it. I don't watch it.
Yeah.
And there are people going, oh, how you're not being responsible. Oh no, I'm very responsible, because what we were born into as a reality was made up. And I had nothing to do with making it up. It was made up. And so therefore, if we turn off what they're feeding us, then we can start going into that space and creating a life that we want.
Right.
Well,
And we have a
what
responsibility to do that. I mean, to me, that's
yeah,
the more responsible thing is to, are you participating in the lower level emotions of this planet and
yeah,
perpetuating that and creating more of that and growing that? Or are you going to do something else? Are you going to do something about it? And really, honestly, a lot of people sit here and think our hands are tied. We can't do anything about any of this stuff. And it's just all being perpetuated onto us, and that's baloney. Like,
it is.
there's so much that you can do in just elevating where you're at. Choose not to be in fear, choose not to be in sadness, choose not to be in bitterness and hate. Choose to be in charity and love and create from that place. We have a responsibility to change this mess that's been made.
Amen, sister. I 100%. And that is, you know, we talked before I jumped a plane to Hawaii, and you shared some of the insights that you've had and that others have had. Amazing how spot on those things that you saw have been, and they're continuing to unfold. So I got the download when I came to Hawaii for a 2-week retreat. Um, I don't know how much you want to share the backstory of that, but I came here for 2 weeks, no phone, no internet, lots of meditation. And in that 2-week time frame, I just got this real clear download. You need to move to Hawaii. And I've got adult children. I do have a 17-year-old daughter with mom in Idaho. So I went back and I checked in with everybody. Is it cool? And they're like, go, Dad.
Yeah.
And so I came here. And one of the primary reasons I came here is I live in the jungle, a mile from the ocean. It's kind of Wild West. I live on a volcano. But the people that I live with here, we got 10 acres here. I'm renting a space. They are deeply committed to their creativity, to their art of music and words, and helping people. And we hold one another accountable with language patterns, right? Things like, hey, did you fall in love? Don't fall in love, ascend into love, right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
types of things. So I just knew that for what I'm a stand for in this life, that this is going to be the most powerful place and supportive place for me, to be limited from the distractions of Fox News and CNN. I don't watch that stuff. But you know the other problem? All the people that want to tell me about what they're watching on Fox News and CNN. It's like, dude, I'll write you a story and I'll make a video about it and I'll hand it to you. If you'll be as emphatic and excited about what I create for you as you are about what they've created for you to consume, man, I'm all in.
Yeah.
And that's really what we do as coaches, is we help people pick up the pen and start to script their own reality.
I
Does that
love it.
make sense?
Oh my
Okay.
gosh, it's beautiful. It makes perfect sense. And those of us who are waking up to this, and many people are, we owe it to humanity. We owe it to our brothers and sisters to pass it on. and teach,
Yeah.
create something new,
Teach.
create something better. We're here, like the world we know is transitioning, and
Mhm.
and we know this is going to end well, but right now we're all kind of getting sucked into the mess and the noise and the nonsense and the chaos. Like it is very chaotic right now, but like you said, I don't live in a place of chaos. Like I'm in a place of joy and bliss and ecstasy and peace, and that's where I live, and that's where I'm trying to invite other people to live as well. And I think that's
Yeah.
what you're doing. We're just going to create this bit by bit, one person at a time.
Yeah, Janet, just I want you to know this, that of the people I've met in the past 10 years, genuinely, when I get, because I'm human as well, right? Fatigue makes cowards of us all. In the
Yeah.
morning, I'm bomb proof and co-creating. By the evening, I've got the steering wheel. I'm pushing God away, and I get into some fear occasionally. When I go to those places, I conjure in my mind the people that I love and who are impactful, and I think of you. And I think of you because I know for a fact that you're doing the work. And just by the thought of you and the work you're doing, it raises my frequency. It reminds me of what I'm to be doing, and it's all good.
That
So,
and that's what we do. That is what we do here.
the safest place for people now, I know the answer to the question that my friend asked me last night about his family members and friends who are, what do we do? Your coaching program, and this is not like a spiff or a plug, it's from my bones. The safest, most incredible place a person can be is in a program like you have, learning what you've taught me, what you're teaching others, to go into this quantum space. And then people will, they won't be afraid. They'll actually start to chuckle at the absolute absurdity
Yeah.
of what's going on the planet,
Right.
and then start living their day in the present,
Yeah.
and just be joy and share joy. And I want to share that with you, Janet. In 2008, after the economy tanked, I was hiding my work truck around the corner so the repo man wouldn't come and take my work truck, because the economy stopped, right? And I
Yeah.
was stressed out. There were fights in my house, and I was watching YouTube videos, freedom to fascism, loose change about 9/11, all this conspiracy theory stuff. And I believe they are conspiracies and not theory. But the challenge is my wife one night, she's just like slammed my laptop shut and says, "You got to stop watching that. You're getting weird." And I was. And, but it was in that time of extreme stress where I really, much like what people are going through today, they don't know what to do. I got a tap on my shoulder, and what I call God just like chuckled and it's like, that's not even it. You don't need the money. You're not going to use guns because they got all those. This is an inside job, Troy. He says all you've got to do, the major contribution, is sit right there, close your eyes, go in, raise your frequency, and hold a frequency of love and joy. And if you want to take it to another level, picture the earth between your hands and channel love source energy through the top of your head, magnifying and vibrating in your chest and down through your arms, out through your hands, holding the earth between your palms, and just intending love and joy and peace to the planet and everyone on it. That's a greater contribution than $1 trillion investment into anything you can put on the planet.
It is.
And we all have the ability to do that
It is. Oh,
right
that's so
now.
powerful. You know what? Now what I want to do is I want to have another Zoom call with you, and I want to do that. I want to actually, hey.
But
Um,
bluegrass, baby.
it's so funny. I want to do that with a group of people. I want to take a group of people through that experience where you take them deep into the meditation and take them deep through into that experience of raising the vibration of this planet, and not to mention their physical bodies. Do you think you'd do
Too.
that?
I would love to do that.
Okay, let's do it. We'll set it up after we
Okay.
get off of this live. I'm holding you to that. I think that would be a powerful experience to take a massive group of people through. So
I would love to. I can give a couple quick tools before we hop off if you'd
let's
like.
do it. Yeah.
So I was raised very Christian, and I'm so grateful. My favorite well, not my favorite, but one that makes me chuckle is Ecclesiastes. Meaningless, like chasing the wind. So when y'all get wrapped around the axle and you start freaking out about Trump or Biden or the stuff going on,
Yeah.
meaningless, like chasing the wind. And we're going to die. We have an expiration date. Don't waste your time stressing about what these punks are pumping into your mind. Don't let them do it. So here's the thing. I used to do a lot of affirmations, and I still do, right? I am courageous, leadership, and poise. I am honest, humble, and kind. And I re-script neural pathways using Dispenza stuff and Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing that I've learned through NLP is we don't really even need to mantra over and over again. All we've got to do, because the mind, the body doesn't know the difference between something remembered, happening, or imagined.
Right.
The chemicals that are released in our brain and our body, every cell is affected just by a thought. Okay. Without going deep into that, this is the powerful aspect of it. If everybody just thinks of, like Janet, think about an incredibly joyful experience, something that's just so, where maybe you're mouth open, ha ha ha, laughing, joyful with your kids and your family. If everybody can just close your eyes, and if you have a difficulty conjuring up a really amazing experience from your past, behind your eyelids, look up and to the left. In neurolinguistic programming, what this is doing is it's visual recall, so you can visually see it. So look up and to the left, right? And then just imagine that experience. Like right now, I'm experiencing a family get together and the laughter of my Uncle Ed and Bob, right? And I can feel my feet on the floor, my hands on the kitchen island. I can hear the people getting chips out of the chip bowl. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to feel the feelings. I want you to magnify the vivid emotions of it, or the vivid colors. Now, how does it sound? Magnify the sounds of maybe your loved ones. And now take that emotion and magnify it times 2. Just magnify that emotion. Now, if you're like me and you're like Janet and probably like everybody, you're smiling. You're smiling. Now, you can do that, then that's it. That's it. People say, I'm depressed. I'm feeling like shit. Well, maybe you just need to take a nap or go to bed earlier. And once you've got enough rest, try this out. Think about when you felt amazing. How were you standing? If you're excited, you don't sit like this, right? If you're excited, you're standing up, your head's up, you're smiling.
And this comes with biological consequences. This will manifest and materialize through your body first before it ever materializes anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah.
So be careful the thoughts that you think and the stuff that you dwell on and the stories you tell yourself, because it's going to materialize through your body and then be perpetuated out into the world.
Everybody who's watching this, if they happen to be, I don't know if all the people that are watching this, Janet, are your students. I just encourage everybody to, I know you've got free courses, I know you've got mini courses, is just get in the conversation that you've created for folks. Of all the things I've seen out there, I love your course the most. It's the most brilliant, it's the easiest, and you're just a kind human being. So it's just nice being in your presence. I love you.
Thank you. Thank you. And this is what we're perpetuating on the planet, is just like right back at you, Troy. I mean, I could say all the same things about you. And I just love you dearly to the soul. I love your soul. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for sharing. This was a good conversation. I love it. I love having these talks. I love putting this out into the universe so that other people can consider it and ponder on it and think about it. How does this apply to their own individual lives? And I think we gave them some good tools today.
I think so too.
I'm going to give you the final word. So as we depart and say goodbye, what's the parting takeaway from today?
Just know, like everybody watching this, you have everything already within you necessary to create and have the life and experience that you want, that you choose, but
Yeah.
you've got to choose it, right? It's not outside of you. It's everything is within. It says it in every spiritual text. The kingdom of heaven is within, right? And it also says the
Yes.
man himself, that which I do, the least among you can do, and even greater things, right?
Even greater things.
Even greater things.
I have a thought about that. So Christ
Mm,
said that which you see me do, ye shall do also, and even greater things. The greater thing is taking people and teaching them how to tap into their higher self and how to tap
mhm.
into God. Like Christ did go around and heal people's bodies and their flesh, and he turned the blind, he changed the blind so they could see and did all those things. But the greater thing is to direct them within and go within and learn how to connect with their higher selves so they can connect with God.
Amen.
Yeah. So there we go. All
Beautiful.
right, everybody. Love you all. Have a blessed day. Please share this around on the internet if you got benefit from it, or if you think that somebody else could benefit from it. Please like it, share it, comment on it so that Facebook will think so too. All right. Take care, everybody. Mwah. Bye.
Thanks, Janet. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Janet.